Welcome back. We've got some developing news in the Liberal leadership race at this hour. The Liberal Party has met to decide if candidate Ruby Dhalla can stay in the race amidst allegations of fundraising irregularities. Now, we're going to try and bring you the latest on this developing story as it does happen. But Dhalla has posted this on social media. She says, quote, "I have just seen the CBC News report alleging financial irregularities in my campaign. My response is simple. These allegations are fabricated, fictitious, and fake, and yet another attempt by unknown sources to have me removed from the debate and the ballot." This news coming just ahead of the party saying that it is going to have those two leaders' debates next week. It's really all in advance of the big convention on March the 9th, where the next Liberal leader and the next Prime Minister will be announced. Usually, these types of party debates are quite polite, with candidates agreeing with each other on a number of things and trying not to be too divisive. So will anyone drop the gloves and land a real punch during this debate? And frankly, are we going to have all five of them there? We're not sure. Let's bring back the front bench. Sabrina Grover, Melanie Paradis, and Gurritan Singh. Sabrina, I'll start with you on this one. I mean, maybe a quick reaction to what we're hearing, not only from Dhalla, but some of the reports out there, and the fact that this could actually go down to a race of four.
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly if the allegations are true of Ruby Dhalla accepting financial donations from corporations, I think that obviously is a clear violation of the rules. And I think that, she's claimed there that it's unknown sources. I think it's the party. So it's not really an unknown source that's meant to disqualify her. So we'll wait to see what happens there. I don't think it changes the nature of the race or the dynamics of the race otherwise. But to your first question about the debates. So I do agree that I think that you've seen both a campaign from the Liberal leadership candidates that has been generally quite respectful and not really throwing punches within each other. And I think that was on purpose. I think we've come out of a time where the party did go through a lot of challenges, where there was a lot of internal strife. And I think it's the job of any leader to come together now after this, whoever wins, and actually build bridges within the party. And so I don't think you start that by having, a negative baseline during the campaign. When it comes to the debate, debates are not really about policy. People are not watching them for policy. They're watching them for leadership and ability to engage, an ability to communicate, and an ability to tell a message to Canadians. And so I think it'll be really interesting to watch this debate, because it'll be the first time someone like Mark Carney is actually facing off against elected officials, right? Whereas Karina Gould and even Frank Baylis and Chrystia Freeland have been in the House before and know how to, have this back and forth in a respectful parliamentary manner. This is going to be the first time Mark Carney's ever stepped into this ring. And so I think it'll be really interesting to see how he does in that situation, and how both Ms. Freeland and Ms. Gould, push back.
And just again, for full disclosure, Sabrina, I'll let you sort of declare who you've been supporting in this.
Yeah, I've been supporting Karina Gould.
Okay, just to be clear, make sure that we have it on the record whenever we have any one of these discussions. Mel, what do you think now happens going forward with this? And I'll let you, if you want to address what is happening with Ms. Dhalla, or if you want to get right into the debate, up to you. Take it away.
I mean, leadership races, I always say Murphy's Law applies. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong, including candidates being removed for reasons like this that we obviously don't have all of the information about yet, but I'm sure will be a really interesting story once we do. Look, debates, in this debate in particular, I think we're going to see all of the other candidates attacking Mark Carney as the front runner, and to see how he reacts, how he responds to that. Is his team able to prepare him for attacks from all sides? Because ultimately that's what I think Liberal members who are voting in this leadership are going to want to see, whether or not he can hold his own. Because to Sabrina's point, no one's had the benefit of seeing him in public office before, and we can't tell whether he'll be able to withstand that. He also hasn't done a whole heck of a lot of media. He's done a lot of American media, but not as much in Canada. And so we've not seen how battle tested he is. So I think this debate is going to be a real test for him, whether or not he is as prepared for this position as some Liberals think that he is.
Yeah, and just further to the point on Ruby Dhalla, there are some other tweets that we have here. One of them that she'd put out about half an hour ago saying donors donated directly to the campaign instead of using a customized link. The campaign refunded the donations and asked the donors to resubmit them via the customized link. These donations estimated $21,000. This was not a violation. She puts in all caps, yet another fake, false, fabricated story. And so she continues to respond to this one. Gurditan, I'll let you, again, as I did with Mel, if you want to respond to what has happened to Ruby Dhalla or about how these debates are shaping up.
I'll just say that in general, we know that there's been a very robust conversation about foreign interference in Canadian politics. And we know that there were early reports about possible foreign interference with relation to Ruby Dhalla's campaign. We also know that there's a pretty close connection between Ruby Dhalla and the Indian government. There's nothing, this is pretty public information on Prime Minister Modi's own YouTube channel. There's an endorsement video of Ruby Dhalla on that video. And now we have this irregularity around questions of whether she's in the campaign or not. There's sources reporting that she's no longer in the campaign because of this fundraising issue. I think as a whole, these are very serious questions that we need answers for. And I think beyond that, it just demonstrates how important it is that we have a robust response to foreign interference. And particularly, we need to make sure that India is continually being held account for what we're seeing are clear evidence of India's meddling in our politics and also with direct examples of violence vis-a-vis the assassination of a Canadian citizen on Canadian soil. So all of this really should just bring the issue of foreign interference to the forefront, and we should recognize that there are continual attacks against our democracy and our citizens by the Indian government and other foreign nations.
Okay, Sabrina, I've got about 45 seconds, and I'm going to give it to you. But I want to ask you specifically about the debates next week, and especially how, and I'm not trying to pile on Ruby Dhalla, but just to speak about on the French debate. She had been asking, there are reports out there asking for a personal translator. How important do you think it is to see how these candidates react in French, especially when you consider that whoever wins this is automatically the Prime Minister?
I think it's incredibly important, and I think that the Liberals have made it very clear that having somebody who is able to speak in French and be participative in the French debate is important. I think you've seen all of the three frontrunner candidates prove that hand and time over again. So I think at the end, you know, the role of the debate is not necessarily to talk either about these policies or like these very nitty gritty things. I think it's about demonstrating not only to the Liberal membership and the Liberal registered people who are going to vote, but also to Canadians, how these folks are going to stand up for Canada and respond to the threat we're facing today. I think the ballot box question as we head into what could be a spring election is very clear. It's Canada versus the United States, and what that is going to look like is going to come down to how people respond in this debate.
Okay, and maybe less of a debate, more of a showcase, right, Sabrina? We're going to have to leave it there. Thanks very much to the front bench, Sabrina Grover, Melanie Paradis, Gurditan Singh. Have yourselves a great weekend.